It's amazing to see how white people are destroying themselves. Now, I hang out in Berkeley a lot by the University of California in Berkeley, and you see these white folks walking around with their little mat, all them trying to get into this yoga thing, and then the stretching games and all this stupidness. And I'm saying, I can't understand this. I can't understand how white people will descend from that lofty experience of the Christian Reformation now to join with India in some little backward little yoga. Now they're selling it as a place as something that will bust stress and make you happy and you're flexible and all that. Now, how many people in India practice yoga? Is it something that is so efficacious and so effective and so desirable that the whole world should embrace yoga? I mean, look at India. Now, India is one Indian guy was walking down with some others down by University California at Berkeley, and he's saying that India shouldn't be a third world country. Look at the growth that India has had, and so on. Is still considered a third world, and I agree that it's third world. Um, India has done well simply because of the cheap labor and the no standards that they have over there. That businesses sought, to make some more profits, so they went over there and opened businesses and transferred technology, and they multiplied the technology and so on. And India basically, I could be wrong, but it don't seem as though they have invented anything. What they do is they study well and they study our stuff, and they just duplicate it like the other parts of Asia, Japan and China and these other places, so that they seem to have a growth, and they're thinking that they're going to rise to be a next superpower. So they need secrets. They need secrets to really get to the superpower ship. But I mean, it's so funny that when you have Europe and America and Australia and these other people as first world and as superpower-ish, how India now is going to come and assume this thing? You have to beat up the first world guys to really get that, because um, I mean, when you look at this succession of empires, you had Africa, then Babylon, Medo Persia, Greece, Rome, and then Germany beat up Rome, and then the Allies beat Germany. So in the previous sections, except Media and Persia, they were just a united empire, and they had all the secrets. And as the secrets came from Africa to Babylon and so on, they added more on, and they keep adding on, adding on, and adding on, until Germany was the leading place a couple of years ago, and everybody wanted the secrets. So, the Second World War came, and them boys had an opportunity now. You have Canada and other places, America and Australia, New Zealand, and all those who participated in the war as independent nations were able to get some scientists, and they were able to develop certain science, certain technology and whatever. America was able to go to space, and I guess Russia also, because of the German scientists. We had Van Braun here and so on. So now, even if India were to conquer America with these little dumb folks we have around here doing stupid stuff, America doesn't have all the secrets. Canada has some, Australia, New Zealand, England, and the whole world. So how are they going to get the secrets now? So they decided that they're not going to use warfare, they're going to use yoga. So in most countries now, I suspect, around universities and around government situation, they have this yoga crap going on. So that these dumb folks join the yoga thing, and they like it, and they're stretching, they're feeling good, and they're doing the meditation, and they're getting involved with Buddha and all them Indian goddess and whatever and gods, and they're finding themselves down in India. And it seems to me that they're targeting these people who have special knowledge. Up at Berkeley, they have this Lawrence, Berkeley Lawrence, whatever lab up there. I'm not sure what research they're doing up there. But if they could get some of these scientists to join the yoga thing and hypnotize them and take them down to India, and then to tell them what they know, and they go on and show them what they know and so on. But still, that's not going to make India a superpower. So to me, it looks so stupid that these white folks, wearing sari and wearing dhoti and piercing the nose and wearing sindoor and all this foolishness they have in India. It's a big joke. I see this white woman once, she going around in circles. She dressed up like an Indian. So to be like Indian now is the montage, is the greatest thing out on earth. And I mean, India is still a third world country. So how it is that these white folks now are descending from this big superpower white boys down to India to learn that stuff? It started with the Beatles and others, They're going down there to try the little Indian voodoo so that it could, be more popular in the music and whatever. Until the Beatles talk funny and saying that they're more popular than Jesus. And I'm not sure how we're gonna happen to these white folks here to trying it, but um, it's so silly to see these folks. And I'll tell you something. I mean, you got to give India credit because I'm a part of the British Empire, just like India, and our education system is so different from Canada and America, in which is only the brightest in the country really has an opportunity to, succeed locally. So that the folks that coming out here from India, they're just trying to get a life over in India. They weren't even studying them because they're not in the intelligentsia, they aren't in the brilliant and so on. But nevertheless, there's that competition for scholarship, and people study, people memorize the whole book, people get sick studying because that is the way to move up through education. And while in America here, they go to school, they just screw and smoke and drink and do everything else than study. The folks in India is ahead of them because we study well and we memorize our work, and the education, we take it very serious. So that now that they're doing what Americans should be doing and they're looking brilliant, now they're trying to be like Indians. This thing's such a joke. But you see, what's happening is this. There's a psychologist guy down in Berkeley, he's homeless. And I'm trying to figure out whether he's not federal government working with the feds and playing games out here. But nevertheless, um, he basically is trying to impress me that he's a big time scholar and whatever. But this guy doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. He has some great psychology thoughts. He thinks that there's more than two sexes. And he thinks that the government should take all these little black boys from North Carolina and put them on the Amtrak train, spruce up these stations, put in restaurants and stores, and take them all across the country. When that should be the parents' role, and the thing happens. So this is the kind of brilliant guy he is. And so the Indians study well, and they apply the stuff that they learn. But you see, the difference with India and Europe and these white folks, that if we study equally with India, right, we study just as serious as them, we would be ahead of them because we have the God of the Christian Reformation when they have Hindu, Krishna, and all them folks over there that don't add up to much. Because I see somebody's talking about the wisdoms of India, China, and all that stuff. Them people ain't got no wisdom down there. The Christian Reformation is where the breakthrough came in Europe. This is where Europe came from being backward and kind of, impoverished and so forth, and excelled. The Christian Reformation, God is the one that came in. So if we in the West here and these whites were to embrace the Christian Reformation and embrace the true God and study just as hard as India, we'll be ahead of them because God is the one who gives true knowledge, not them gods that they have down in India. So to me, it's so embarrassing to see these white folks walking around trying to be like Indians. And the Indian people in Berkeley walking around like if they're the superpower and if they're, in charge of the world and so on. So I know how this is going to end because a lot of them can go crazy. People from India could try all that yoga and all that Buddha and all that Krishna and all that voodoo they have over there, and they'd be cool and purporting to be happy. But when these white folks and these black folks and these others around here try it, what's going to happen is that very quickly they're going to lose their minds because they're going to get into this thing and eventually they're going to come to realize that it's not worth the while. And when they're going to leave it is where the trouble is going to start because they're going to make so many commitments along the way that Buddha and Krishna and all them will not allow them to leave. As the Santana sang, you could check in anytime you want in Hotel California, but you can't leave. So that when they check into this yoga and all these Indian stuff they're going into, they're going to find that when they realize it is not anything worthwhile and they try to leave it, it's going to be too late because they're going to lose their minds. And a lot of people in Berkeley who are crazy and homeless and all that, you check them. They've been trying these Eastern cultures, meditation and Buddhism and this yoga with Krishna and all that stuff. Man, I tell you, this thing is so hilarious. But this is what happens when we turn our back on God. We end up going into falsehood and all kind of strange things, and they're going to destroy us. So these white folks are destroying themselves, man.